Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetrack Adventures. This is Steve. Right now we're in Tucson, Arizona, and there's an excessive heat warning here today. So in order to beat the heat, we're gonna head up. Today, we're gonna drive up Mount Lemmon. Now this is supposed to be one of the most scenic drives in the Southwest, but I've never been up there before, so let's go find out. The Santa Catalina Mountains tower over Tucson, gaining over 6,000 feet of elevation on the city below. The road we'll be taking up into the mountains today goes by several names, such as the Mount Lemmon Highway, the Catalina Highway, the General Hitchcock Highway, or the Sky Island Scenic Byway, and is about 24 miles in length. There are said to be some amazing views on this drive, and as we head up into the mountains, we'll see what else there is to see and do as well. The temperature reading on my car says it's 113 degrees out right now, and while I'm sure that isn't 100% accurate, it'll be great to cool down as we head up. Mount Lemmon is the tallest mountain in the Santa Catalinas at 9,159 feet, which is almost 7,000 feet above Tucson below. The Tohono people called it Frog Mountain, as they thought it looked like a frog. The mountains were also used by the Western Apache for hunting, and they've even found artifacts dating back over 1,200 years to the time of the Hohokam in the area. The mountain range got its name because in 1697, the Spanish missionary Father Kino christened an Indian village near the mountains and named the village and the mountain range Santa Catalina. We had to stop and take a look at the saguaros that are blooming. Some of these are around 150 years old. As we travel up the mountain, it's said for every 1,000 feet in elevation we gain, it's like traveling 300 miles north as far as what the temperature and biology of the area will be like. We're in the Sonoran Desert now, and the top of the mountain will be equivalent to being in Canada. We've only gone a couple of miles, and we're already getting some pretty cool views of Tucson down below. I had mentioned that Father Kino gave the mountain range its name back in the 1600s. Well, Mount Lemmon gets its name from Sarah Lemmon, who was a botanist who explored the area in the 1880s, making it a rare mountain in the United States that's named after a woman. In 1902, the Santa Catalinas were set aside as a forest reserve, and they became part of the Coronado National Forest in 1908. We've stopped at Molino Canyon, and you can see the highway going through the canyon here. The first road to the top of Mount Lemmon was a burro trail that was turned into a road in 1920. That road wasn't wide enough for cars to pass each other, so there were set times for cars to travel in each direction. That road actually still exists, but it's a rocky dirt road that's said to be in bad condition in places. I may have to try that one on a future visit. Here's Molino Canyon. If you come through here at the right time of year, it looks like you could probably see some waterfalls here. But unfortunately, not today. There is very little water down there. The road we're driving today came about after a novel was published in 1923 called The Mine with the Iron Door by Harold Bell Wright. This led to an increase in interest in the Santa Catalinas, and people began to call for a road to be built up the south side of the mountains for easier access from Tucson. That's Thimble Peak in front of us, and Sabino Canyon, which is another popular outdoor area near Tucson, to the right. Because of the cost and some pushback, the efforts to build this road didn't gain much ground until 1930, when Frank Harris Hitchcock, who was called General Hitchcock, got involved. He was never a general in the Army, but served as Postmaster General of the United States from 1909 to 1913. He also owned the Tucson Citizen newspaper. Hitchcock fell in love with the mountains after a birdwatching trip and began advocating for the road's construction. He obviously had enough pull because construction of this road began in 1933. In order to build this as cheap as possible, they used prison labor to build the road. They even shipped in prisoners from Texas. This, of course, led to some issues. Then after World War II began, the road crews were largely made up of Hopi, Mennonite, and Japanese-American draft resistors. We just stopped again, and there's this map here. We can see how far we've gone. We're at the Windy Point Vista, and we really haven't gone that far. The drive has been incredible so far, but it looks like we still have a ways to go. Here's the highway down below us. Construction of this highway was really slow going, and the road wouldn't be completed until 1950. Though most of it was drivable by the mid-1940s. It looks like there's a viewpoint up here. Let's head up and take a look. The views on the drive have been amazing so far. Just fantastic views pretty much the whole way. I imagine there has to be a lot of accidents on the road because it's so hard to keep your eyes on the road when you want to just keep constantly looking off to the side to see the view. But oh wow, take a look at this view. And that is Tucson down below us. Because of how prominent these mountains are against the desert below, you could just see forever up here. When I was walking over here, I noticed there's a plaque or something on the rocks across the street. I don't see a path to get over there, but let's head over there and see if we could find our way up there and get a closer look at that plaque. I'm curious to what it is. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to climb through the brush here a little bit to get over there. Oh, there's a lizard. It looks like this may have been the old observation deck that's not in use anymore. You can see the wall here. And here is that plaque. It's probably impossible to make out on this camera, but I'll zoom in with my other camera. But it's a plaque for General Hitchcock. So the plaque's declaring this as the Hitchcock Highway. Sadly, General Hitchcock didn't live long enough to see the highway finished. He died suddenly in 1935. While we're up here, we might as well walk over and take a look off the old viewpoint. It's probably not much different than the viewpoint we were just at, but it's worth a look. And there's the other viewpoint right below us. It's not just the views, even the geology up here looks amazing. This is definitely not a boring drive. We're getting closer to the top. We've just made it to the visitor center for the National Forest. 7,945 feet. A decent selection of shirts here. What a difference 17 miles makes. We started out with cactus, and now we have pine trees. Our next stop will be Summer Haven, which is a little town up here in the mountains, and we should be able to get some lunch there. And there's one place in particular that I'm looking forward to trying. I love these signs here. These are probably the best warning signs I've ever seen. This one says bear country, hike with people that are slower than you. This one tells you what color your urine should be. And then the last sign warns you not to eat the yellow snow. Here's the Mount Lemmon Lodge, which opened in 2023. There have been a number of fires through Summer Haven over the years, and every previous lodge that has ever opened here has burned down. This is what we've been looking for, the Mount Lemmon Cookie Cabin. There are a few tables inside, but it's nice enough today. I think we're going to sit outside. And here's the menu. These cookies are said to be huge. This is it. We got the sampler cookie, which is 6 cookies baked together. And as you can see, it's the size of a plate. We also got a couple of slices of pizza. And for some reason, despite the hot day, my wife got a cup of chili. Okay, we're re-energized by the cookie. Let's head to the top. Before we leave Summer Haven, we're going to make a quick stop here at the general store to check it out. You could pick up some souvenirs here, and they sell a few groceries as well. As I mentioned before, this area has been devastated a few times by fires over the years. There was a fire up here in 2003 that burned for almost a month and almost completely wiped out the town. We've gone a couple miles from Summer Haven and now we're at Ski Valley. And just as an interesting side note, this is said to be the southernmost ski resort in the United States. This is the ski area, and here is the ski lift. And I had no idea the ski lift would be running today. We're gonna have to get on that. This is my first time on a ski lift. We're taking the easy way up the mountain. We're actually a pretty good ways off the ground here. It's probably not as apparent when there's soft snow on the ground below you, but I would not want to fall off the ski lift here, that's for sure. Having never been skiing before, I don't think I ever realized just how slow moving a ski lift is. It feels like we've been on this thing for at least 20 minutes now. After a lot more time than I thought it was going to take, we've gotten to the top of the ski lift, and here's the view from up here. There's a fire lookout tower over there. I'd like to go take a closer look at it, but unfortunately the ski lift closes in an hour, and I don't know if we could make it over there and back in time. If we were skiing, this would be the way down, but instead, it's back to the ski lift. There are some great views going down on the ski lift, and you get plenty of time to look at them. This drive has been called the most scenic drive in the Southwest. And that's a pretty bold claim when you have the Grand Canyon, the drive into Yosemite Valley, or the high road to Taos to compete with. But this drive is on the list for sure. We've gone as far as we could drive, and according to the sign, it's equivalent to being in Alberta, Canada. It looks like we could take this path and still get a little bit higher, so let's go up. Who knows, maybe we'll reach Alaska. I don't think this is the actual summit, but this is where the trail led to, so it's gonna have to do. Wow, what a view. The temperature was well over 100 degrees down there when we started, and when we stopped up here, my car said it was 76. So about a 30-degree difference. So the drive up here definitely lived up to the hype. If you're in the Tucson area, I think it's more than worth it to drive up Mount Lemmon. I only wish we'd done it sooner. But anyways, that's our look at the Sky Island Scenic Byway. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.